The college football experience, East Carolina Pirates 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Bird Dog Shorts. Dominate the summer with an amazing pair of shorts and a free Yeti-style tumbler when you order over at birddogs.com/pool. Once again, that is birddogs.com/pool.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to the college football experience, East Carolina Pirates 2023 season preview episode. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience, you'll see the ECU hat on old Pick Dundee. Whoa, I'm sorry. Maybe you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Colby Swigga Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Now we're talking football. It's not, the past 2 days I got to do Colorado and ECU, my squads. Oh. All right. But East Carolina's my squad, baby. All right. They should be in the SEC. But the SEC, they don't want that smoke.
Cowards.
They don't want that smoke. There's no difference between Starkville and Greenville. All right, you got the Vills.
There's really not that much of a
difference.
That's
what I'm saying. We should be in the SEC. You want to have your little party, SEC and Big Ten, and try to separate from the rest? Fuck you. All right?
Yeah, the ACC is all tied up with their grant of rights. You want to get into North Carolina? Bring a real program.
Yes.
Bring the ECU Pirates.
Let's go. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Well,
it's time to talk about it. It's time to talk about the greatest university in all of the land. From Pat Dye. Hey, SEC, you benefited off of us creating Pat Dye. Okay. Yeah.
Auburn legend, Pat?
Yeah. He was at ECU first. All right.
True.
People don't know that we've been a legit program since back in the days.
Great for quotes, too. Great for clips.
For everything that is college football. And I'm talking about the East Carolina Pirates. Just give them the national championship now because winners of the 1991 national championship.
There you go. Conquerors of the North Carolina State Wolfpack.
Yes.
Not so much last year, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, we should have.
Yeah. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But look, it's a brand new year, Patty C.
Well,
this guy's son knows about ECU.
But they're counting down 7-6-5.
Shout out to Skip Holtz. But, I mean, honestly, this is a program to back-to-back bowl games. I know there's cowards. Boston College canceled a bowl game 2 years ago. Saying they had COVID. They just don't want to get their ass whooped by a real team that is better than everyone in the ACC. So I understand that Mike Houston, your boy from JMU,
a good coach,
has been bringing back, because Scotty Montgomery, who was a mole, my theory on this.
Yeah, we're well aware.
He went to Duke. He coached at Duke, so he played at Duke, and I think he was a mole because ECU was dominating.
He sabotaged his own career in order to bring down the rival.
Still in the NFL. He still failed upwards. He's still in the NFL.
It's true.
But look where he goes. After he goes to ECU, he gets fired. He goes to Maryland in some of those awful Loxley years, not the bowl seasons, right? Then last year he was on the Colts. You know the Colts are one of the worst teams, if not the worst in the NFL. This year, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fade him, all right?
Scotty Montgomery. Do not hire him. He will destroy your program from the inside out.
Just fade him, all right? Because when you were putting Scotty Montgomery on your staff,
better luck next year.
That's essentially what's going to happen here. But Patty C, here we are.
Let's talk about Mike Houston's win percentage. First 2 years, 33%, 33%.
But that's when you understand that he walked into. And look, Houston bothers me on the special team side of things. I've made this known, but he walked into a bare cabinet. You know what I mean? There was nothing there.
Both of those years were improvements on anything Scotty Montgomery did. He was 25%, 3-9 all 3 years. I guess 3-8 on the last year.
Yeah.
And he left David Blackwell in the lurch after he got fired. 3-9 for three straight years. Immediately 4-8, 3-6 in the COVID year, but then 7-5. 8-5. Are they getting better still?
Would have been 8-5 that other year at BC, not canceled. I feel like they should give us the win for that.
Yeah.
But yes, this is a big year for us as we continue to build forward. I think one of the big questions out there, ECU fans, I think kind of want to be in the Sun Belt, despite them being in the AAC. I feel like the Sun Belt's more on brand with Halloween at ECU and just Dowdy-Ficklen's crowds.
Well, what are the teams in the AAC again? I got to get that.
I got them off. I got them all up here, Petty C.
There you go.
Right?
Database, start spitting that data out.
Florida Atlantic, Tulane. We got Charlotte, the 49ers of Charlotte. We also have Rice, SMU, UTSA, Memphis, Temple, Navy. Who am I forgetting?
I mean, which one of those teams outside of Charlotte could even be considered a regional rival? I would say pretty much none of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really.
Tulane, SMU.
South Florida's in there. We have a little bit of a history with them.
Yeah. It's still not super close, but in the Sun Belt, you would have who?
Well, Sun Belt, I love these two rivals right here. Marshall.
Yeah.
We have a history with Marshall. And also Southern Miss. Southern Miss and ECU have had some battles back in the day in the CUSA and even as independents.
As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, they are your most played team all time, but your record is 12-27 against them.
Well, they were fucking nasty when they had Brett Favre and Michael Hee Jackson and all those guys. Here's the thing, buddy.
Are you sure you want that smoke?
Oh, come on. Look.
Because when you're at East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.
Write it, Patty C. Look, so if we enter the Sun Belt, obviously you have those two rivals, then you have Appalachian State.
Boom.
In-state rivalry, mountains against
Beach against mountains.
I don't know if it's beach for ECU, but sort of closer.
Greenville.
Yeah, there's no water.
Yeah. Well,
but you're not that far from Atlantic Beach. But Patty C, also you would get Coastal Carolina, which I would like. We played them. We beat their ass in the bowl game. Grayson McCall ducked us because he knew an ass whooping was coming.
Yeah.
All right. He might piss Teal. All right. But he didn't show up on game day. I'm joking. I like Grayson. But no. What do you think? And then we also have Old Dominion, which is right there.
You're forgetting a certain team here that, if the last time I checked, also wears purple and gold and wears a little better because we handed your ass to you on a silver platter.
Uniforms, youtube.com/college experience. Let's talk about that. ECU last year revived their classic uniforms. These are up there with the best of all the college football. I don't care what anyone says.
ECU, no matter what, they do a good job with the uniforms. They're a swaggy team. I give it to them.
Gotta love
give it to them.
But yeah, you add in Coastal, you add in JMU, and even ODU, which is right there.
Oh yeah.
You have this. They belong in the Sun Belt.
You're going to have full stadiums at all of these games if you're playing, which ECU probably doesn't have much of a problem with in the first place.
Yeah, they fit in.
Dowdy-Ficklen, 50,000 seats. And
largest of all the group of fives.
Wow.
Yeah, let's go. Look, we're going to talk all about the East Carolina Pirates and talk about their offense, defense, special teams, everything, and talk about how they're the greatest institution of all time. But before we do that, want to tell you that the ECU 2023 season preview episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs make you look good, like fucking Chris Johnson running over Boise. That was one of Boise's only losses in those late 2000s years. ECU, baby.
I'm going to say running past Boise, not really running over them.
Whatever you say. All I know is Ernest Biner was running over them, all right? There you go. That's an ECU Pirate.
There you go.
Look, but Bird Dogs stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. I mean, come on, you're going to look like Ric Flair. All right, and not Ric Flair now either. I'm talking Ric Flair when he was beating down, Hogan and all those guys back in the day. Part of the Four Horsemen. That's what you're going to look like. You put on some Bird Dogs. Bird Dog shorts do the exact same thing as other shorts, but they fit way better. All right, they fit. They're not made of stiff, restricting cotton. Bird Dogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric. It looks just like khakis, but stretches so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice all that movement, Patty C. Bird Dogs uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric. Look, good people of Greenville, if you're listening to this one, look, I've spent many of days shit hammered at your fine university, and I know that some days you're partying, especially around Halloween.
Oh,
I made the mistake of showing up in police riot gear one time, and everyone pretty hammered, walking amongst thousands, kept hitting my helmet.
Yeah, they didn't run away.
Yeah,
they beat him.
Yeah, that was anyway. My point is that sometimes you wake up the next day in a field or in mulch. You know what I mean? I've done that before, where you just have to pass out wherever you can find a spot on this fine earth of ours, and sometimes you wake up and you already got plans. You don't have enough time to go home and shower and stuff like that. Maybe you crash. At a friend's house, whatever, right?
On a couch,
on
a bush,
anything. At ECU, anything's game. Yeah. NC Nick will tell you about him carrying a pizza like a briefcase throughout the university when I brought him down there. And look, the reality is that sometimes you don't want to be smelling like you're, Vin Baker. So here you have anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. It's going to keep you smelling a little bit better. So Bird Dog's killing it there. Go to birddogs.com/pool and enter the promo code POOL, POOL, for a free Yeti-style tumbler with your order. Once again, that's birddogs.com/pool for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We can promise you that. All right. We are back on the ECU, the East Carolina University 2023. Don't listen to that Ohio State bullshit, all right? It is the East Carolina University.
I don't think the distinction needs to be made. I don't think anyone else is trying to plant their flag for East Carolina.
All I'm saying, man, is, ECU, everyone knows this.
No one even dares, Ohio State has to clarify because Ohio, okay. ECU, right? No one wants to, and they leave that territory, right? What you got the research triangle. That's all central, North or Central Carolina. Then you got Winston-Salem starting to get a little out west. App State's out in the boonies, right? Literally. Hello.
Yeah,
and then you got ECU claiming the whole coastline to themselves.
NC Nick brought this story up recently that the last time I was at ECU, Patty C, we went to a game. It was I think it was week 1 of college football. Scotty Montgomery area, unfortunately. And I forgot my ECU shirt, much like this episode. But I quickly went to a dollar store or a thrift store and bought a purple button-down shirt, right?
Yeah.
You would
Nice.
And I spray painted ECU on the back of it. And I think I did a chant on the front of it too. But the worst part was it was 110 degrees that day. And I smelled like spray paint, my whole body. But played a lot of beer pong pre-game, and then afterwards I did take a little bit of a nap.
You sound like you fit right in at ECU.
I took a nap in a parking lot for a little bit after getting extremely sunburnt.
Yeah.
And doing a few Jaeger bombs, and then later in the night, I was at a bar where I was talking to a girl, and she called me old. She called me old. I was 33 years old at the time. I didn't think that was that old.
That's old.
Is it? Okay. Well, I mean, at ECU, she must not have drank too much. All right, she needed to have another few drinks because I've seen it all at ECU. All right.
Come on, yeah.
Anyway, Patty C, here we are. The Pirates are rolling. ECU Greenville. If you haven't been, folks, you gotta get out to a game. They got the jungle and baseball. Dowdy-Fick, get rowdy at the Dowdy. You know, let's go. Patty C, but I'm curious. Well, let's talk about the portal first because.
Well, should we talk about what happened last year? Or
sure.
We'll do
sure.
that
No, let's talk about that. Let's talk about last year first.
Okay.
Let's recap because I still have a hard time knowing we lost to NC State when we really should have won that. How many missed extra point, missed field goal, missed extra point. I just feel like block punt for a touchdown.
Did you guys fumble on the like down near the goal line?
That was NC State.
Oh, it was NC State.
That was NC State.
That's when you guys were rallying. That's right.
Yeah. But you know, you look back at this season, with the exception of the Houston game, we were in every game, man. We were in every game. We lose to NC State by 1 in the game. Everyone knows we should have won. The Navy game, of course, you know how we lost the Navy game, right? The same kicker in regulation and in overtime missed. So in regulation and in overtime, he missed. That game shouldn't have been that close. Yeah. We should have won both those games. We lose to Tulane by 15.
It's respectable.
But that was like a one-possession game for a long time, right? We were right in the thick of that. That was in New Orleans. And then we lose in Nippert by 2 to Cincinnati in a game we were in.
Yeah, very much in that game.
And then we got housed by Houston. We beat Coastal in the bowl game, but we did score some nice wins. We took down
Coastal.
Beat the shit out of UCF. Hey, welcome to the Big 12. You just came to you came to the Dowdy.
You went to BYU and got a win.
Went to BYU, got the win. We had a solid year, beat Memphis.
You're not getting physically pushed around. That's what I knew Mike Houston was going to bring when he was the coach at JMU. That's the first thing that jumped off screen is this team is physical as hell.
And I think right now, coming into this year, if I may, get ahead of ourselves for a second, the real strength I think is the defensive line. I hear that they're really, really excited about the strength of the defensive line.
Which with Montgomery, Houston had mentioned.
They didn't have a defensive line.
Yeah.
He was like starting corners at the end. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's talk about the portal because, man, I felt so much better about ECU's season before they got rated in the portal, that SEC money. But, hey, come on, Vince McMahon. You're an ECU grad. You can't have the XFL now, all right? Throw your money into the football program. And same with the guy who started Golden Corral. You better believe he's from ECU, right? Throw some money in that NIL collective. Let's get it going. I'm already donating. Let's go, all right?
I mean, I think that, when we talk about the portal, I'm guessing that's the problem for you guys right now is the lack of financial, capital there.
It's a small little town. So, but we're on the rise, buddy. All right. So in the portal, ready? Well, first I will have a celebration. Can we play something here? Oh no, and Daffer's gone. The kicker that cost us the NC State game. Look, Owen, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, buddy. All right. He's gone. Does that mean we won the portal? Because I'm about to name 30 fucking guys. All right. Offensive lineman Nishad Strowther. He's at the Oregon Ducks, Patty C. Jumps all the way to Eugene. All right. We lost tight end Max Lanchish to the Lobos of New Mexico. Running back Nemo Squire to Gardner Webb. Grayson Lewis, another offensive lineman in the portal. Cornerback Jamone Wilson in the portal. Cornerback Brandon Higgs in the portal. Wide receiver Terrence Copper Jr. Remember his dad, wide receiver that played for ECU, Dallas Cowboys as well. Tight end D'Angelo McKinney bounced out to Stony Brook. Cornerback Malik Fleming, one of our best players, to the Houston Cougars. Wide receiver Macy O'Donnell in the portal. Defensive lineman Rick. How do I pronounce this guy's name again? Debreu, I think it is. Debreu. I'm always fucking this up. He's at TCU now.
Okay.
Debreu. That's what it is. Debreu.
That works.
Andre Pegas, he's gone. Wide receiver Taj Hudson goes to James Madison. He must have been a backup.
Moving on up.
Defensive end Emmanuel Hickman, though, goes to South Florida. Cornerback Juan Powell to Coastal Carolina. Safety Jariah Wilson to UCF. That was just huge losses. And cornerback Daniel Hickman to Georgia Southern. Safety Demetrius Money in the portal. Quarterback Ryan Stubblefield to Incarnate Word. Safety Sean Dorsey to NAU. Offensive lineman Avery Jones. This was a huge one. He's probably our best offensive player to Auburn. Defensive end Elijah Robinson to Hawaii with the Rainbow Warriors, going way out there. And then this one, safety Robert Kennedy. He goes to NC State.
That's a conspiracy if I've ever heard one.
You go to NC State, you piece of absolute shit. You go to NC State of all places. I mean, I can't stand that guy.
The CIA is behind
but
that.
Honestly, the big ones, though, obviously, when you have the transfers to Oregon, Houston, TCU, UCF, Auburn, and NC State, those are all guys moving up.
Well, there is your example. If you are wondering which team is going to be the victim of NIL and the transfer portal both happening at the same time, look no further. It seems. It's based on the information you're giving me right there.
But I also think there's opportunity. Mike Houston comes from the FCS, where he won a national championship with JMU.
He's got the eye for talent.
Well, I think you got to dive into the FCS, and I think that's what he did, because he brought in kicker Jerry Rice, who, yes, you can't fade a Jerry Rice in football, all right? And he was a kicker at VMI. We covered VMI. They had some good seasons, especially that spring season. He's already better, and we don't even know if he's starting yet. Linebacker B.J. Davis from South Carolina State. This guy was a very good get. And then linebacker Tyquan King from North Carolina A&T. That was their best defensive player. So we bring them, those guys in. FCS talent, Patty C. Then you have linebacker Rahjai Dilworth from UNC.
That's a great name.
Safety Dontavius Nash from UNC.
Rahjai Dilworth.
So a couple UNC transfers coming in. There's going to be one more in a minute. Punter Archer Trafford comes in from Mississippi State. Wide receiver Ryan King from Georgia Tech. Cornerback Tymir Brown from UNC. And that's what I mean is, like, the defensive side of the ball, you'll see some of these big recruits that were at North Carolina and they just couldn't get it going. This is a huge one here. Safety Omar Rogers from Elon. He was all CAA safety. That's what I mean. Mike Houston going to the FCS roots.
Going and grabbing some of these guys.
Cornerback Rance Connor from the Louisville Cardinals. Running back Gerald Green from Georgia Southern. And shout out to our guy Clay, the big Georgia Southern fan, who hit me up and says, we're getting a dog in Gerald Green, so watch out.
Boom.
They also rated
I'll take his word too. That guy spits truth.
And we also rated the Akron Zips offensive line. Offensive tackle Owen Murphy and offensive lineman Ryan Beckman, starters with Akron a season ago, come over to ECU. So we raid the MAC, we raid the FCS. Cornerback Jonathan Jones from the Campbell Camels, who have been recruiting at a really high level. Mike Minter is their head coach. Wide receiver Keelan Robinson from the Kansas Jayhawks. Wide receiver Chase Soule from the Colorado Buffaloes.
Okay, a couple Power 5 guys.
Offensive lineman Dustin Hall from the Duke Blue Devils. So we got how many? We got what? What do we got on here? 3 UNC players: Mississippi State, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Kansas, Colorado, Duke.
Again, when
two-way street.
When there's this many, unless you're automatically familiar or you have a little word of mouth knowledge with these players, especially when there's that many, it's kind of like I need someone to put it into numbers. Do we know what their transfer portal rating was?
No.
I'll get that pulled up here.
I don't pay attention to that shit, but
I think it's kind of like useless,
Yeah.
I mean, it's important to know what their incoming transfer portal ranking is, because that gives you an idea of what you're getting. And I think that there's some truth to that. I mean, there's some maybe statistically verifiable, like, not yet, but eventually there might be. Certainly with the recruiting there is, but until you know what is going out, you're kind of just like you're looking for names.
It's like piston in the wind, man.
Yeah.
It's like piston in the wind. But offensive coordinator Donnie Kirkpatrick is back, Patty C. And last season, 34th scoring offense in all the land, 53rd in rush offense, 16th in passing offense, 23rd in total offense.
That's huge to bring that guy. I mean, he's been with him since what? Lenore Ryan, and he was there. Was he with him at the Citadel? Let me double check that.
He was the head coach. Mike Houston was the head coach of the Citadel when they beat South Carolina at South Carolina. Remember that? They went into SEC country and grabbed that dub.
Okay, so he wasn't. No, it was the defensive coordinator who was with Lamar Ryan. Donnie Kirkpatrick was at ECU until 2015. Then joined Houston with Ruffin.
Yeah.
Then joined Mike Houston at JMU, and then has been at ECU since. And so his first offensive coordinator gig at the I guess Chattanooga way back in the day, but recently was JMU. They obviously killed it at the FCS level. He's doing a pretty good job now.
Top 25 offense.
Yeah, I think the continuity is a huge thing. I think you gotta, I think you gotta feel pretty good about that.
Holton Ahlers is gone. That sucks because he'd been really good for us last year, and
all over the top 20, statistical leaderboard nationally. For a dude that throws the ball like he's got a broken arm.
Yeah, you were a hater just because he's a lefty.
That's
one thing I've learned about you is you think lefties. You thought Steve Young was terrible.
Lefties tend to do this, I feel like, and it looks really bad. Is they drop their lead arm, and it looks like they're like, I don't know, and even if they keep their lead arm in like in a tight position, coming across the body, it still looks weird coming from a lefty. So you're right. Maybe I hate on the lefties.
You do. But look, Holton Ahlers is gone, and it's either going to be Mason Garcia or Alex Finn at quarterback. Or I'm sorry, Alex Flynn. But Mason Garcia is the highest rated recruit in the history of ECU football. So I'm excited for this new era. So he's only a sophomore, so we could potentially have him start for the next 3 years, Patty C. Maybe even 4.
That's nice.
Considering redshirt shit. The running back Keaton Mitchell's gone.
That one hurt.
Came out early, and what are you doing?
7th nationally in yards per – 4th nationally, in yards per attempt at 7.2.
It sucks that he came out early. He should have stayed in college.
Yeah.
But look, running back position is interesting because you have Gerald Green from Georgia Southern who could start. Maybe it's Marlon Gunn. I see a lot of people talking about Marlon Gunn Jr. And then 2 years ago, we had a 1,000-yard back in Rahjai Harris. He is back, but he's coming off an injury. So we'll see how that works.
That's important.
I'm not worried about the running back position.
Yeah.
Wide receiver-wise, you get Josiah Hatfield back, Jaylen Johnson back. I think Johnson was a Georgia Bulldog transfer the year before.
Nice.
So I like that. I love the tight end Shane Calhoun. He was a good player a year ago. He's back now. Here's the concern: we only bring back 1 of 5. You could argue
real quick related. I mean, Josiah Hatfield had 26 receptions last year. Isaiah Winstead had 88 receptions for over 1,000 yards. Both top 10 and 20.
But here's why I don't panic too much on the Winstead side. He was a transfer from Toledo last year. So we went out in the portal and we got Ryan King from Georgia Tech, wideout. We also brought in Kalen Robinson from Kansas and Chase Soule from Colorado. Can one of those guys essentially do what he was doing?
Someone's got to catch the ball.
Perhaps. I'm not sure. But either way, I'm excited to see. I'm not panicking on the wideouts. I'm panicking on the offensive line because, we got hit in the portal pretty bad in this spot. Now, we only bring back one starter that started the whole season. That's right guard Isaiah Foote. I mean, Hampton Ergley got some starts, so you could argue that we have 2 guys that could potentially, be starters from a year ago. But we went out in the portal. We brought in those guys from Akron. We also got a guy from WVU that was a transfer 2 years ago in Parker. Was it Moore, I believe? This is where I circle and I'm concerned because I just don't know. I trust Mike Houston, but I originally thought coming back to this year when I saw all those starters leave, I thought we'd be better on the offensive line. So I'm like, man, I don't know. What do you make of that?
I mean, yeah, if you're losing, where did they lose offensive linemen to?
Auburn and Oregon.
I mean, those are 2 elite programs. If they're going and getting those guys, it's because they're freaking really good. And ECU can't afford to lose guys of that caliber. It's going to greatly impact their, caliber of their line.
Yeah. Defense coordinators Blake Harrell. They were 72nd in scoring defense, 18th in rush defense. Got after that D-line that I'm talking about, Patty C.
There you go.
Now, pass defense, like I said, I guess losing the kid to NC State, losing the kid to UCF in Houston, Maybe we don't panic that much because we were 128th in pass defense.
It's really funny. They're kind of an odd team because generally speaking, I feel like I could be wrong on this, but teams that have good rush defense also have a good rush offense.
It normally helps the
right. Yeah. And you practice against it all day. ECU, meanwhile, has a great rush defense and a terrible pass defense, but a great pass offense and a pretty mediocre rush offense.
I know Harold's super aggressive, though. Like, he blitzes a lot. And sometimes you get your hand caught in the cookie jar. You know what I mean? Like, so
it could just be scheme.
Yeah, but still, 128th in pass defense, not great. 87th in total defense.
Understatement.
Yes, but the defensive line that I was referring to, Elijah Morris, Deontay Johnson, Chad Stevens, Jeremy Lewis, all back, and they have great depth at this position. I like the depth. I even like the second unit. So I'm very excited to see that. Like, that's why I think we could be better than what people think. Now, linebacking core, breaking in a brand new linebacking core, that's a little interesting but if you told me, I think in today's era of football, I feel like that would be the one where I feel like, okay, maybe we don't need to. We brought in Rahjai Dilworth from UNC. If there's one area where I think it used to be defensive backs, I think now with the way everyone passes, I think the one area that you could lose everybody and be okay is linebacker.
Interesting. I'm sure each component of the defense is pretty vital in its own right, but you may have something there.
Well, we bring back both of our safeties, which I like. Julius Wood was a beast last year for us. And corners, breaking in new corners, but brought in a corner from Campbell, a corner from North Carolina that are projected starters. So the defense, I think, could be better than last year. Just the fact that I feel like the defensive line could be one of the best in the AAC, if not the best.
Their overall defense rank was what last year?
87th in total defense.
Well, they better get better.
Yeah. Kicker, like I said, Jerry Rice, Andrew Conrad. To me, we already won by getting what's his name out of here.
Careful what you wish for, buddy. Let me ask you this. Let's take a 1 second pause here. I want the June evaluation of Mike Houston on a 1 to 10 numeric scale, where he is as a coach. It's a very simple formula coming from Colby Dan
6.
Here. He's a 6 right now.
He's rebuilt the program.
That's a lot higher than you'd given him before.
Yeah, well, look, he's rebuilt the program to where it should be. I mean, we're not where we should be, but we're back to making bowl games.
Yeah.
Yes. But now that I look at this new AAC, okay, you have Tulane and Fritz is a damn good coach. So I for a second, he almost went to Georgia Tech, and I was like, oh, we're going to start running the AAC. You got Trailer at UTSA, but I believe we should be amongst them and Memphis for the top teams. And obviously SMU, with the way they spend, actually could be the number 1 team down the road.
Sure.
But we should
with
be in
culture.
That mix. We should be in that mix to be champions every year.
I agree. I think I agree. I think it's going to be a fight. I think there's the possibility that, you get rated year to year. That's something you guys might have to figure out. But I do trust that Houston is going to be able to, make up the talent, whether it be going to the FCS or whatever. He's a good evaluator of talent. So you bring them in, I expect them to compete year to year.
Let's go. We're going to compete by going game by game on the schedule, projecting the East Carolina Pirates record. I got mine at 14-15-0 after our playoff win, but there's still more to listen to this episode.
Invitation
as we go. Yeah, definitely an invitational. We're going to go game by game on the college football schedule for East Carolina. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the ECU 2023 college football preview is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. All right, what are you doing, folks? Underdog Fantasy is a great way to get down on your favorite MLB. They have college baseball player props. I know that season's coming to an end, just came to an end. But next year you have that. And when college football comes around, we cover this heavy in college football season. They have player props. You could probably find, Shane Calhoun's over 40 yards receiving in the opener against Michigan or something like that. Jump on it, baby. So head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. Pat TC. Here we are. This team. So if you're watching on YouTube, first off, subscribe wherever you get this podcast. Wherever you listen to podcasts at, it'd be great if you could subscribe. Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. Also on YouTube, youtube.com/The College Experience. And just so folks know out there, that on our YouTube channel holds all of our college experience stuff. So we host the college baseball experience, the college basketball experience, the college football experience. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/The College Experience. Subscribe, tell a friend. Patty C, week 1. Oh my God, it's so perfect. It's so perfect.
It's not so perfect, dude.
36-point dogs. 36.5, I think I saw recently. ECU heads to the big house, they call it.
Well, you know what?
Let me get loud there.
Curious.
What's that?
If it's 36.5, I want to see what the first half spread is, because if it gets anywhere near that, it's going to be once the dam breaks and Michigan starts going off, because I do expect ECU to be able to bang with them for at least a couple quarters.
Buddy, take the points all day. North Carolina's got a history. The last school from North Carolina to play at Michigan was Appalachian State. They went and won. This is going to happen again.
You're talking about a team that is bringing back 2 elite running backs, a solid quarterback, a playoff team, and the rest of that team.
They haven't won a playoff game. They're not really a playoff team. They put them there just because of a big brand. All right?
Fair argument. But they're not that far away. They did beat Ohio State a couple years in a row. I think you guys are going to
be impressed by that.
I think you're going to get smacked on the scoreboard, but I think it's going to be pretty competitive through 2.5 quarters. I could be wrong. Michigan might come in and stomp, but especially with the new quarterback you guys are breaking in, not exactly ideal against Michigan in the first week.
I mean, look, Michigan played a bunch of trash last year in the non-con, and they're doing it again this year with the exception of ECU. Last year they played 3. They got 3 brand new coaches in the first 3 games of the season, and 3 terrible football teams in Colorado State, Hawaii, and UConn. UConn ended up making a bowl, but it was still 59-0. That was the first month, and their backup quarterback was their starter. Do you think ECU is close? How far do you think ECU is to Maryland or Illinois?
Somewhere between the two. I mean, closer to Illinois. And Illinois gave him a hell of a game.
Illinois is better than Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my point is that Maryland only lost by 7 in Ann Arbor a season ago.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Illinois only lost by 2. You think this Michigan team's got Tom Brady and fucking the 4 horsemen back there?
You might have a point. It would not shock me if Michigan doesn't like shred in the passing game. If they're just sitting there banging with ECU, and especially if ECU's got a tough defensive line, like you're saying, shit. Mike Houston knows how to coach.
Let's go.
He and Jim Harbaugh are. I don't even know that Jim Harbaugh is necessarily a better coach. I mean, I sound like an idiot saying that, but Jim Harbaugh has just been doing it at like bigger places. You know, he's been in the NFL, but Mike Houston was winning championships.
Mike Houston took the Citadel and beat South Carolina.
Yeah, wherever
Do I need to say more?
Yeah.
Citadel was running triple option.
Mike Houston's only 51 years old too. He may be on his way.
So we got him at 1-0.
1-0.
I like it.
No, wait, 1-0. No. 0-1. 0-1. Sorry.
Then the rivalry game. This is awesome. The next 3 games, as an ECU fan, I'm happy with the next 3 games. The Marshall Thundering Herd coming to Greenville. This game's fantastic. Marshall, I think it's a layup in week 1 when they play the Albany Great Danes and Reese Poffenberg. You think ECU might have a body blow from Michigan where they struggle against Marshall?
I mean, Marshall does run the ball too. You know, they're a good team, so I think you can't ignore them. Marshall's in what?
The Sun Belt.
Sun Belt?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think you got to be careful in this game. But I think having it at home is nice.
The last time we played, we had Holton Ahlers. We won in Marshall in a crazy game. Absolutely crazy game. So I got us winning this one and going 1-1.
I agree with you.
Maybe 2-0. Then we head to Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina.
This is a heater right here.
This is great. Next year they come to the Dowdy-Ficklen.
I'm going to tell you this: the accumulation of back-to-back, elite running teams pounding on you is going to add up. And App State, I'm curious when we take a look who they're playing the week before. Well, they got a road trip to North Carolina the week before. There could be a little letdown.
Imagine if they win that.
Yeah.
Perfect spot. The North Carolina schools are doing something right.
Playing
playing
each other?
all of it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
this would never happen at Florida. or
Lo
something,
and behold,
like,
this is
yeah.
fucking awesome.
Yeah. So I got us going to 2-1. Give me a 31-28 final.
It's a very optimistic outlook here. 1-2, East Carolina Pirates.
Now, Patty C, the Gardner-Webb running Bulldogs come into town, and people don't realize. First off, this is a team that won an FCS playoff game a year ago, right?
Okay.
You want me to they played 3 FBSs a season ago. I'm going to rattle you. I'm going to give you this. Ready?
Yeah.
They lost at Coastal 31-27.
Okay.
Gardner-Webb.
Respectable. Very respectable.
They lost at Marshall 28-7, but it was 14-7 going in the fourth.
Yep.
They lost at Liberty 21-20.
Buddy, you
They're
better
good.
be careful.
They're good, buddy. They are good. And they're playing App Week 1. This is what I mean. I love Gardner-Webb playing those schools.
Yeah.
I love Campbell playing North Carolina and North Carolina playing App State. And it seems like
you know what would have been cool?
What's that?
If like JMU, when they were FCS, could have been playing UVA. Oh, but we beat them and they didn't schedule us for 40 years.
That was Virginia Tech.
Well, no, Virginia Tech, we beat them and they didn't schedule us for the remaining 10 years. And we're still not on their schedule for another 10. We got cowards in the state of Virginia.
North Carolina's doing it right, man.
Goes hard.
They're doing it right.
Yep.
So I got us 3-1 after beating Gardner-Webb on September 23rd at the FIC.
Okay, I got them at 2-2.
Then they traveled to Houston, Texas to take on the Rice Owls. Now, this is a sneaky game to me.
Yeah.
Because I think Rice is going to be a lot better. They got JT Daniels, and he's 39 years old. You know what I mean? And there's a benefit to having someone that went to college with Warren Moon on your roster. So
no lack of experience there. They were 5-8 last year.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
This is a sneaky game because I think Rice is going to be a bowl team this year.
I mean, they only lost at Houston by 7 points.
I think Rice is going to be a lot better this year. I think they're going to be a lot better. But I also think ECU is a championship caliber team. We go down to Houston and beat those private school pussies.
So you say 4-1? No, 4-1?
4-1.
I say 3-2. Okay. Bye week.
Bye week.
A nice bye week.
Nice bye week because you got SMU and all that SMU blood money coming in, the NIL blood money that they got. All right. But they got a Thursday night football.
Ooh, in Greenville.
Oh, in G Vegas. Come on.
What is the cuisine? What are they getting fired up down? I mean, aside from the shots, aside from the fucking rot gut liquor.
You got great barbecue. You got great barbecue in the Carolinas, well, North Carolina specifically. But also, you got sup dogs. You know what I mean? You got hot dogs and shit you can get. I mean, it's ECU. You don't even remember what you eat. All right?
Yeah. It's not important.
Could be hot dogs.
It's
could
coming
be
up at the end of the night
assholes.
anyway. Hello. We've all been there. All right.
But this is a huge upset right here. They're not going to see this one coming.
Is it even an upset?
The SMU is like they're spending money all crazy.
Yeah. They think it's 1984 here. They think Eric Dickerson's walking through that door.
Yep. So I got us moving to 5-1.
4-2. I think they get the win too.
See, now we hit the over right here because although I do like Charlotte hiring Biff Poggi, I think he's fantastic, and I am quietly a Charlotte 49er fan because of that hire.
You could say it. You're in the closet.
I just think Biff Poggi. I mean, Google image this guy. He's what a football coach should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's what a man should look like.
Yeah, he's gonna have Charlotte rolling soon, but not this year. We get him done. We cash the over.
You guys are gonna smack Charlotte.
We're up 6-1. And then we head to the filthy Alamo Dome to take on UTSA. We should never play football in this stadium.
Tough little stretch here.
This is a loss.
Frank, what is it, Harris?
Yeah, Captain Harris is back. Mahoney might even be with him. But, yeah, that's a loss because it's a far trip. That place gets lit. And I don't think we get him.
Look, he admits the Alamo Dome gets lit.
Yeah,
and it does. It's a live environment they got there.
Who you taking?
I'm taking the Roadrunners. You kidding me?
So what's their record heading into November, Patty C, for you?
I got them. I think how many games we got left?
We got
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 4 games left.
I think I have them at 5-3, right?
5-3. So you need one win for the over.
Yeah, you're at 6-2.
Yeah,
you already
6-2, and Tulane comes to Greenville. Now, what I love about this is apparently Fritz and Houston go way back.
Yeah.
You go back to the last time they played in Greenville. ECU got him 2 years ago. They got him 52-29.
Wow.
Right? But last year, Fritz got the revenge. Can we deal them the blow? I think that's a game, dude.
I think it's very much.
Yeah.
I think Vegas is way undershooting ECU right now.
I do too.
I think this is like almost lock-worthy here. Sure, being in your company is probably influencing that a little bit, but no, I think Tulane, while they are very good, a trip to ECU is not going to be easy. This crowd will be up for that game. No, the gorgeous golden locks of Michael Pratt
might be a problem.
Might be a problem.
I got us winning.
I'm gonna give you another L. So you got what, 7-2? I got him at 5-4.
Then we go down to Boca Raton, FAU Stadium. Now this, I think Tom Herman and FAU are going to be a lot better than people think. I think they bite us here.
Wow,
they bite us.
Wow,
they got Casey Thompson, who I think is a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
And I think that team's been recruiting really well. So Herman walks into a great scenario, much like he did at Houston.
Yeah.
So I got us losing that one.
Wait, what did Herman do at Houston?
Are you kidding me? He took he beat Florida State in the Sugar Bowl. Then he got the Texas job.
Oh, off the Houston.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was his path. He went Ohio State, Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
That's right. Forgot that whole Houston era there for a second. Yeah.
They beat Oklahoma.
Oh, he's got potential.
Yeah.
He's got a great X's and O's. You give him some talent, it's going to be a problem.
Taking here?
Look, they were what, 5-7 last year. That's respectable. I think ECU gets them.
Wow, I like it. Back-to-back away games, Patty C. We got Brian Newberry, new head coach of the Navy midshipmen, bringing in the Kennesaw offense. This is one of the mystery games. Navy normally fucks up ECU.
I want to look at the
maybe it was the Ruffin McNeil and Montgomery era. We had a really hard time. Now we did win the last time we went to Annapolis.
You guys are 2-8 all time against Navy. Having won just one of the last.
The last time we went to Annapolis is what we won on a game-winning
38-35. Yep, just 2 years ago. Both these games have been decided by, the last 3 games have been decided by 4 points or less for the last 3 years.
Well, we couldn't kick a field goal last year. We should have won.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's the drawback. As much, I mean, for a team that it was top, what did they finish in passing last year? Number 16 overall.
Yeah.
How are they? This happens with Navy when they play like Army and stuff. They get in these dogfights that are a field goal game every year. When you're throwing the ball around against one of these service academies, you usually either work them or you get worked. But here, Mike Houston finds himself in a dogfight with Navy every year.
And he gets the win here.
He gets the win this time. I agree with you.
Okay, and then they host the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. They're in year 1 of the Kevin Wilson era. I do like the hire.
Kevin Wilson, good coach.
But I think it's year 1, and it's at the FIC. So I got us sitting here at 9-3, 10-2, 11-1, 12-0, 14.
Well, what do you really have, Matt? You have Matt.
No, I really think you take the over, though. I really think
you have 9-3, 8-4 somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
I got them 7-5, but either way, that's a full game and a half ahead of where
September is so important to me. Like if we start out 0-3, it could go really downhill. We have to beat Marshall or App, even if we go 1-2.
Yeah, I don't think that's even that necessary, but it would make it. You know who you guys remind me of right now?
Who's that?
UTSA from last year. A really tough first 3 games.
Yeah,
and if you can squeak out one of them, the rest of the schedule is very manageable.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I think you'd hammer the over.
But 0-3 is a hard hole to crawl at.
That's what I'm saying. And then you got to worry about, quitting. You got to worry about everything. And 0-3 and then playing your FCS and Gardner Webb, that team that won an FCS playoff game a year ago.
0-4. That season's over.
Sneaky.
Houston all of a sudden's on the hot seat.
Yeah. So I'm taking the over. I feel pretty good about it. Patty C, yourself?
I agree. I think that 8-5 last year, they're just disrespecting at this point. They did lose a lot, but
culture.
That's right. Next man up.
Year 5 is this? 5, I think.
Is it 5?
Yeah. So, I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over. Look, before we get out of here, though, we got Michael Barker. I was able to interview the great Michael Barker, a.k.a. College Football Campus Tour, at CFB Campus Tour on Twitter. And if you don't know who he is, you need to know who he is because he's absolutely fantastic. He travels to every single college football stadium. So we're going to talk about his trips down to the FIC to get rowdy at the Dowdy. Joining us on the East Carolina Pirates 2023 season preview episode is one Michael Barker, a.k.a. College Football Campus Tour. He's on Twitter as CFB Campus Tour. You need to follow that account because He takes the best photos. He's at like every game. I swear. He needs a fucking Pulitzer Prize or something. I don't know. But look, let's talk about Dowdy-Ficklen. I'm an ECU guy, and I'm telling you, Mike Houston's reviving the program some. But for a long time, and NC Nick can account for this, and many other friends of mine, I would take them down there for a Thursday night game. We used to play a shit ton of Thursday night games back in the 90s with David Garrard, with Jeff Blake. We'd play Virginia Tech, West Virginia, all those schools. We were an independent at the time, so we would kind of play everybody. We beat the Miami Hurricanes when they were a top 10 team. When they were foolish enough to come to Greenville, although actually I want to say that might have been a hurricane, and we actually beat them in Chapel Hill. UNC let us use that stadium because of a hurricane. But tell me about your experiences, because I know I got to get you to Dowdy-Ficklen for a game, man.
Well, I've been there twice. What I like about it, first of all, is it's the biggest G5 stadium in the country, 50,000 seats. And it started out with only 10,000 when they built it in 1963. So that attests to the success of the program over the years. In 2010 and 2011, they averaged a sellout. So for us, thinking about G5 schools getting 50,000 fans at every game, it's an incredible. So they definitely have reached the pinnacle of fan support like you're talking about. What I like also about the stadium is there's natural grass. I mean, everybody is moving to field turf, and they have natural grass there. So there's a lot of positives. I've been to 2 games. One was in 2018. One was in 2021. Both were weeknight games. As a traveler, we're always trying to get the weeknight games if we can. And the 2021 game was a game against USF. They were down, I think, 16-0 at half. Pouring rain, and they came back 23 unanswered points in the second half, and they ended up beating South Florida.
Well, look, I mean, I still feel like we're not where we need to be. I mean, we just got rated in the portal, but I'm telling you, folks, and you see it with college baseball. College baseball, ECU's been really good, and they hosted a regional last year where the Texas Longhorns came, and I feel like everyone was like, "Who are these this crowd?" And I remember articles. I remember reading an article. This is before my time, like my years down in Greenville, was that they were suggesting teams that should join the SEC, and they were comparing. They were saying this is a passionate fan base. The SEC should try to look at ECU. This is probably late '90s, early 2000s, and it's a shame what Scotty Montgomery era. They started to get blown out so bad. So now Mike Houston comes in, and I feel like he's starting to get it back to where it should be. But hey, and I think you went to one of those games where he got the win in the rainstorm there against USF, man. So
yeah. I mean, there's definitely potential. Some schools have never reached the top. I know they're in the American now. I'm deep in the Sun Belt, and every time they talk about adding another team, ECU is one of the ones they bring up automatically. So. Hopefully, like you said, Coach Houston continues to push them in the right direction. And it's nice to have big destinations at the G5 level. And so, them doing it in baseball, like you said, is proof that it still can be done. And it would be great to have another big sold out crowd against there, because I know opponents would not want to go back and face a 50,000 seat crowd for a big game.
Yeah. And NC Nick, who's not with us on this episode, my brother, he's a big Sunbelt guy, and he says the one team the Sunbelt is missing is ECU. ECU used to play Southern Miss and have these rivalries, and I always felt like Southern Miss had a lit. They remind me of each other. ECU reminds me of Southern Miss and Fresno State. I've always said that. So hopefully, look, in the coming years, we're gonna get you to a game, man. We're gonna get you to a game because. Scotty, I know you mentioned 2018, the Scotty Montgomery years. I don't even want to ask the score of that game, folks. But anyway, I appreciate you coming on the show, Michael. And look, we're gonna get you to Dowdy-Fick. All right, we're gonna get you there, folks. Give them a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. You will not be disappointed. All right, this is the best. If you're a college football fan, you need to be following this page because it's educational, but you also get all these shots. You can live kind of through him as he goes from city to city, sometimes 6, 7, 8 cities, I feel like, in a week. Give him a follow. Michael, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me and getting to talk about your boys, East Carolina.
There we go, man. And I'm holding you to that. We're going to get you to Dowdy-Ficklen when it's not a monsoon, you know.
Zero resistance. I'm ready to go. So let's do it.
Let's go, man. Michael Barker, yes, and look, he went into monsoon. That's football weather, though, Patty. See, I like monsoons. You know, let's go, and
that's how at least 30% of games should be watched.
Yes, Patty. See, what are you going to do if East Carolina upsets Michigan week 1?
Party with you. I'm gonna get you to buy shots for everyone.
The bar scene better watch out, folks. I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over. Mike Houston is bringing life back into Greenville after that mole. All right, that mole. Scotty Montgomery. I'm super excited for the future. And maybe one day we can get to the Sun Belt. It sounds crazy because the AAC is the more prestigious conference in a way, but the Sun Belt has just the blueprint on college football.
Much cooler.
Yeah. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. Once again, like I mentioned, we host the College Baseball Experience, the College Basketball Experience, the FCS College Football Experience. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/ the College Experience. Also, wherever podcasts can be found, all those podcasts I just mentioned, type them in. We are available wherever podcasts can be found. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast and the SGPN app. That's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. You get access to all of our picks, content. Jeff Blake, we've had Jeff Blake on the show before, talking ECU Golden Days. So check out all that good stuff. And, well, Patty C, let's just put the bet in now. ECU over. This is the College Football Experience, East Carolina Pirate style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
We believe in the Pirates, in the spirit